The old people of Britain was nearly fully replaced by newcomers on 4,500 year back, a research shows. The received information indicate contemporary Britons track very little faction of their origin to the human beings who constructed Stonehenge. The remarkable outcome comes of analysis of DNA recovered of 400 old remnant through Europe. Conduct writer Professor David Reich, of Harvard Care High School in Cambridge, U.S., told, same significance and surprise of the people replace is very sudden. The reasons stay not clear, but environment changing, illness and environmental calamity could all play a part. Human beings in Britain lived by hunt and collection before farming was entered of mainland Europe on 6,000 year back. These Neolith farmers, who tracked their origins to Anatolia, contemporary Turkey, constructed gigantic rock, or megalithic, structures such as Stonehenge in Wiltshire, enormous land mounds and subtle settlements such as Skara Slope in the Orkneys. But to the end of the Neolith, on 4,450 year back, a new way of lifetime distribution to Britain of Europe. Human beings began burial their corpse in stylized chime-shaped utensils, brass daggers, arrowheads, rock bracelet guard and distinguishing punched button. Company author Dr. Carl Laluza Fox, of the Institution of Evolution Biological, IBE, in Barcelona, Spain, told the cone Moris perhaps begun as a type of vogue in Iberia following 5,000 year back. Of there, the civilization distribution really quick by speech of jaw to Center Europe. Following it was adoptee by human beings in Center Europe, it blown in each line, but via the motion of human beings. The gene information, of hundreds of old UK genomes, reveals how the Beakers were a clear people of the Neolith UK. Following their arrival on the Isle, cone genes seemed to bog such of the home farmers. Professor Reich added, same early population had fair put up the big stone at Stonehenge, that became a domestic location of Hajj as reflecting by consumer goods driven of the far corners of Britain. He added, same subtle old folk who constructed how memorial and one's love it could not include named how during a brief time of period their descendants would be lost and their lands over expenditure. The newcomers driven origin of nomad groups emanating on the Ponchan Prairie, a pasture area widening of Ukraine to Kazakhstan. These nomadic people excited Western for the Neolith, mix hard inset populations in Europe. The cone migrating symbolism the at first period the East gene sign appears in Britain. Archaeologist and research company author Mike Parker Pearson, of College School London, UCL, told Neolith Britons and cone groups organized their societies in really various ways. The building of large rock monuments, company opting hundreds of human beings, was an foreigner conception to Beakers, but the Neolith UK society has how completely as its mandrel justification. Same cone human beings are not produced to cooperate on huge labor mobilizing projects, their community is more than decentralized, told Professor Parker Pearson. We don't include a nice express for it, but the Americans do, and how is, no is readily to job for same person. The cone national seemed to favor more than humble circle barrows, or lend funeral mounds, to lid the prominent corpse. The team is as well closely related in the arrival of metal working to Britain. Professor Parker Pearson annotated, they are the human beings who give Britain out of the rock year. Up before later, the human beings of Britain had cut themselves off of the mainland, Neolith Brexit. The is the time while Britain joins the mainland following 1,000 year of insulation, largest of the otherwise of Europe was so out of the rock age by the spot. The reasons over the sluggish people decrease were perhaps facility, but the interim downturn in the environment inflicted a constant changing in the way human beings bred. One opportunity is how the above exploitation of earth by Neolith farmers attached blood pressure to meal manufacture. But illness may as well play a part in the people change. We include several scheming testimony how several of the prairie nomadic people transferred pestilence in them, told Laluza Fox. It could fair be how the pestilence went in these migrants in Britain and the Neolith people had not been in the pathogenic up. Everything did occur, Professor Parker Pearson is dubious on the opportunity of a forcible intrusion. The Beakers, he told, were driving in really little groups or separately. He explainable, the is no large gang, bouncing in boats and masse, he's a really sluggish trial of migrating. Moreover, the percent of personal abuse appears to be high in Neolith Britain, 7%, rather than it was in the Cone time, 1%. The environment research examines the Cone event through Europe with DNA of hundreds more than samples of production, consisting remnant of Holland, Spain, the Bohemian Republic, Italy and France. Else scheming opportunity links the Cone human beings in the distribution of Celt languages. Though lot language expert trust Celt distribution thousands of year after, Dr. Lalusa Fox told, in my type, the large people circulation must be followed by a tongue replace.